Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. For today's second video, that will take us around 23rd of December. So we are just shy of Christmas with the week to 10 day time frame now. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles running to around a couple of weeks. That takes us through Christmas period. And we'll have a look at the CFS V2 for January at the end of the video. JMA Friday has been released. We've got disagreements between the Japanese and CFS V2 models about the way forwards for the next 4 weeks. So have a look at JMA Friday, see what's going on there. There are a few hints from a JMA, but things could get a little bit colder as we head towards the new year. But have a look at that and see what's going on. Right, so first thing we're going to do though is say a big thank you to our latest PayPal donor. So we have had a donation through PayPal for Gals worth of it. Big thank you to this person. I'm going to say thank you so much to Chris Longhorn. Chris Longhorn has become Gals worth of his latest PayPal donor. So thank you so much, Chris, for doing that. If you would like to become a donor for Gals worth of it, all you need to do is come to the Gals worth of his PayPal page, sign in to your PayPal account, and then you can give a donation to Gals Worth. It can be any amount of money that you want, and by doing that you are becoming a donor for Gals Worth, and we'll give you a mention in the video as long as you want one. So if you would rather say anonymous, that's fine. Just leave a little note with your donation. We'll email you anyway when we receive a donation, but leave a little note, let us know that you'd rather stay anonymous. We'll just say thank you to this anonymous person, but otherwise you're going to get a mention in videos. We'll give you a shout out and say thank you so much for doing that. You might want to mention for your website, for your business, something like that. We're very happy to do that as well. We have done that for a few people also. So it really is however you want the mention. Alternatively, you can become a patron for Gals Worth. We've got 64 patrons so far, so hello and a big thank you to our 64 patrons. If you would like to become a patron for Gals Worth, and again, all you need to do is come to the Gals Worth patron page, sign up for a Patreon account, assuming you don't already have one, and then give an ongoing monthly donation to Gals Worth. It could be anything from $1 a month upwards. By doing that, again, you become a patron for Gals Worth, and we'll give you a mention in the video. So whether you do it through Patreon or through PayPal, yes, you're going to get a shout out. We'll say thank you so much for doing that, and that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, helping us to pay for the website, keep content online. So big thank you to all of our PayPal donors, big thank you to all of our patrons, and special thank you to Chris Longhorn for becoming our latest PayPal donor. Thank you so much, Chris, for doing that. Right, so let's start the video, and we're going to begin with the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Poole down the south coast today. So the red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for Poole, and we're going to be a bit below average for the next few days. Actually, going to be rather chilly through the weekend into the early part of next week. Later next week, the temperatures get a bit of a boost. They get a bit of a tick up through the second half of next week into like the weekend just before Christmas, and then running up to Christmas. Mentioning exchange range, that's Christmas Day just there and beyond. In that period, it looks like we get a bit of a cool down, although there is a lot of scatter, so these are much milder ensemble members just here. These ones down here are proper cold outlier members. They're going really quite cold around or just after the Christmas period. So from around Christmas onwards, there's a lot of uncertainty, but until then, it's relatively straightforward. The next few days quite cold, gets milder through the second half of next week and running up towards the Christmas period, but not necessarily about those milder conditions lasting over the Christmas period itself. Precipitation wise, plenty more rain to come. We've been talking about this in videos since we returned, of course, the other day. So just regular rainfall spikes really from beginning to end. It's very difficult to pick out a particularly dry interval. I suppose today and maybe tomorrow is a little bit on the drier side, but overall that looks like a very wet ensemble indeed, and particularly so as we get to this period, which is kind of like running up to Christmas. That looks very wet through that period indeed. So plenty more rain to come. Temperatures a little bit on the up and down side. By the way, if you'd like to have your local town or city feature within this section of the event, all you need to do is ask us through Gazworthies, comments at Gazworthies, or you can email us at gazworthies@gmail.com, or ask us through Facebook and Twitter. We'll add you to the list and we'll feature your local town or city within this part of the video. Temperature anomalies from the 13th to the 21st of December are very slightly below average. It is going to be a rather cool week coming up for the UK and for Ireland too. Most other parts of Europe looking very mild, especially so in the east and the southeast Europe and into west of Russia. But over in the UK and across Ireland, actually, we're one of the cooler places in Europe, along with Iceland and Norway. Precipitation anomalies, perhaps a little bit surprising given that ensemble. Let's go back to it. There is the ensemble showing all those rainfall spikes, but precipitation anomalies are actually slightly on the drier than average side. I think that's primarily down to the next couple of days. I would suspect things are going to get more unsettled again as we go into next week. But of course, we shall see about that. Maybe a little bit surprisingly drier than you would expect given that those are precipitation spikes with that ensemble. Anyway, moving on to the generic charts. This is how the GFS is looking for Monday. Low pressure is in control. See where the jet stream is dipping southwards as well on Monday. So that's allowing this low pressure to sort of weaken over the country. We're beginning to go a little bit dry through the early part of next week, but still quite unsettled. Into the second half of next week, we've got this area of low pressure out to our west, but we are raising heights a little bit to our north and east. So there's quite a battle going on now within the latest GFS run for the second half of next week. This is Friday, a week away, 20th of December. Quite an interesting chart, this. We've got high pressure sitting both to our north and also to our east-northeast. Lots of low pressure in the Atlantic to the west and southwest, but these low pressures are kind of being diverted northwest to southeast and beginning to slide through the Atlantic into southwestern parts of Europe as this area of high pressure to the northeast is trying to pull in easterly winds. So that's a proper battle that's going on there. And it does keep most of the rain out to the west-southwest. Actually, northern east now is probably relatively dry. It's been quite cold, I would have thought, in those southeasterly winds. This battle continues as we run up towards Christmas, before eventually we start to move these milder southwesterly winds in as we get to day 10, which is Monday the 23rd of December. So eventually we do finish up turning milder with these southwest winds. But that's been put back by a couple of days by the GFS run. It takes until around the 23rd of December before we properly start to move these milder southwesterly winds in. In a more extended range with this GFS run, what happens is that eventually we start getting high pressure again, building both to our south and to our east as low pressure remains out to the west. So up to the end of the GFS run, which is to Sunday the 29th of December, there's nothing particularly cold happening, but I think if we go back, I think we need to keep an eye on this sort of period around the 20th, 21st of December. Definitely the GFS is raising the heights here to the northeast. These areas of low pressure, if they start getting pushed down with jet stream in that direction, we might start to pull in proper easterly winds. It's a low risk, but I wouldn't totally rule out the possibility of that. And I assume, going back to the ensemble, that's what these colder outlier members are doing around Christmas. These ones down here are probably pulling in winds from the east. So around sort of a week or so's time, we need to see what's happening there up to the northeast. GM looks like that again. Monday rather unsettled and quite cool. Through the course of next week it stays pretty unsettled. Low pressure always out to the west, high pressure sort of up to the east northeast. So heading up towards day 10, and again it's the same idea, but these areas of low pressure are being forced further south. So this is Sunday 22nd of December. Again, we've got the low pressure and the jet stream being pushed southwards as the heights are rising both to the north and also to the northeast. Again, up to day 10, nothing particularly cold is happening. We're just increasingly unsettled, really. So those low pressures are sliding northwest to southeast. But again, we need to keep a close eye on what's happening to our north. It's a complicated pattern. And then the ECMWF looks like that. So again, rather unsettled on Monday. Through the course of next week, we begin to lose those areas of low pressure to some degree Into second half next week, wind shifts into the south, so that's starting to bring milder air up from the south. And as we get up towards day 10, with the ECM, we're just looking really unsettled, actually. That's how we look at day 10, which is Monday the 23rd of December. Very, very unsettled. Low pressure is rising over top of the country. It is raising heights a little bit to the northeast by day 10. Not as much, certainly not as much as the GFS 6 o'clock run was showing. Probably not as much as the GM even was shown, but heights rising a little bit to the northeast by day 10. But really the main message from the ECM is just very, very unsettled up to day 10. Right, so these are the precipitation forecasts based on that ECM run from tameteo.com. So you've got showers around today, some of them wintry in the north and the west. Could be a more general area of rain in the south overnight tonight. Tomorrow, wintry showers in the north and a more general area of wet weather moving in across England and Wales. So that could turn a bit wintry over the Pennines, over the Derbyshire Peaks, Staffordshire Moorlands, and also the Welsh Mountains. More likely to be rain further southwards. Monday, wintry showers in the north and the west. So quite a chilly start to next week. Then we get this area of heavy rain setting in across southern and southeastern parts of the country through the early part of next week. This is around Tuesday, Wednesday. So that could turn to snow if it gets further north, far enough north into northern England and also into Wales as well. That gets out of the way, and then we're bringing in more low pressure from off the Atlantic in more extended range, just bouts of rain heading in with those southerly to southwesterly winds, regular spells of rain as we move up towards day 10. The ECM is very unsettled, more so I think than the GM or the GFS. These are the options are on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the 23rd of December. This is from the Icelandic Met Office, of course. We have 13 members of the ECM ensembles, including the operational run that has some above average heights to the north, with below average heights over the country. So obviously there, that's a very unsettled option. Another 12 with low pressure moving in off the Atlantic. That's going to be really unsettled too. 11 just here again with low pressure to our west and northwest. They look very unsettled. 9 with a deep trough of low pressure over top of the country, and 6 with low pressure perhaps a little bit centred just to our west. Whichever scenario you take, it looks like they're all unsettled at day 10 running up towards Christmas. In 2 weeks time, these are the options that we got. This is just beyond Christmas, of course. This gets us to the 28th of December. We have 14 members of the ensembles with low pressure to our northeast, high pressure is to the southwest, so mild with those, and trying to go a little bit drier as well, especially to the south and west. 12 with high pressure out to the west and to the northwest, low pressure to the east southeast. That's the drier but colder option. That's bringing in the wind more from a northeasterly direction. 11 with low pressure to our north and looking quite flat with those westerly winds. Another 11 with low pressure to the west. They're going to be unsettled, relatively mild. And then 3 that's got high pressure to the northeast. So these ones are bringing in, these are the coldest option. They're bringing in easterly winds, and they could be quite bitter actually running up towards the new year. But again, bear in mind there's only 3 of those doing that. Still, the idea is there's that running up to Christmas very unsettled, over and after Christmas probably going a little bit drier. Finally, just have a look at the CFS V2. So these are 500, this is 700 millibar height, I should say, for January. It's showing an unsettled January with low pressure, below average heights coming in off the Atlantic into the UK and much of Western Europe. It's got a ridge down to our southwest as well, just here. This will bring in westerly winds. So he's going for another Atlantic-driven month. CFS going for another Atlantic-driven month in January, which will be there for a milder than average month. Not significantly so, but certainly a little bit above average with the temperature anomaly for January 2020, and hints at being slightly wetter than average as well. So the CFS wants to continue the deluge into the new year and into January, but that's very speculative. Of course, I think I'm going to watch what's happening in around a week or so's time as those heights are rising up to the northeast. We've got a bit of a battle getting going as we're moving towards the Christmas period. Now, the upshot of this is that it could become very wet as those areas of low pressure kind of blocked by the high pressure to the northeast, and we might get some weather fronts becoming stuck over the country. So that could turn into a very wet scenario as we move up towards Christmas. But alternatively, if that low pressure and the jet stream starts to be pushed far enough southwards, we could actually see the wind going into the east as we move towards Christmas. And obviously that will start to deliver much colder air from the east and from the northeast. There was a few hints within JMA Friday for that, more particularly towards the new year. So it could be that the GFS short range models, GFS ECM, are just beginning to pick up on something happening, but they might be a little bit early with it, and maybe it's going to be more after Christmas, around New Year time. But quite interesting, and obviously we're keeping a very close eye on what's happening with those height rises to the northeast in around a week or so's time. Right, tomorrow we've got the weekend forecast coming up. It'll be a week to 10-day video update. I'm going to have to get a Christmas update in for you as well before much longer. It's been a very, very long time since we did a Christmas update. So I'm going to have to get one of those in as well, I think sometime over the weekend. So just keep watching this space for that. Don't forget to check out JMA Friday. That's all for now though, and thanks for watching.